Have you ever wondered why pixelated art is so popular and talk about when it comes to any game? Seriously, whenever someone says any games, 90% of the time, I imagine any games with pixel art. Of course, there are plenty of any games that don't use pixel art, like Little Nightmares, Shantae, Health Genie Hero, Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night, and the list goes on. These games use what we call 2.5D, which is a bit different from pixel art like we see in games such as Dead Cells, Blasphemous, Stardew Valley, and honestly there are so many more that if I list them all, this video would never end. Anyway, if you've been living under a rock or you just don't know what pixel art is, it's a type of digital art created using pixels as the basic building block. It's tied to the low resolution graphics from the 8-bit and 16-bit era on old computers, arcade machines, and consoles, as well as devices with limited colors and pixel options. In this video, I'm going to talk about why pixel art is still so popular in any games. There is a lot to cover, so grab a snack and let's dive in. When it comes to pixel art in any games, nostalgia is one of the main reasons why this art style is still so popular today. The drawing, the concept, the music, the Metroidvania style, just about everything pixel that any games have to offer was once common back in the mid-80s and early 90s with the rise of NES and SNES consoles. Now, back to modern day, any games often use pixel art, essentially because the concept triggers nostalgia for those who were once kids, playing NES games in their living rooms and remembering their simpler days. I think we can all agree that most gamers started their hobby with Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, or other notable NES games. Now, I wasn't born in the 80s or anything, but I was lucky enough to experience what it feels like to play those NES and SNES games either with your cousin or your sibling who always fought with you because they wanted to play as a player one. I'm saying this because I personally think this kind of pixel art style really connects player with the game emotionally. This is what we had when we were younger and our lives were simpler. For example, when I play Stardew Valley, I always have the reminiscent feeling of our beloved farming sim Harvest Moon. The same applies to any other Metroidvania subgenre like Dead Cells, Shovel Knights, Blasphemous, and Celeste. That kind of pixelated art style just clicks with the OG gamers. When you are creating a game as a solo developers or with a small team, 3D game development can be very expensive and risky. Not to mention it requires advanced technology, powerful PCs, and highly skilled staff to pull it off. So if you are an independent developer working with just your developer friends, creating a game isn't just hard, it's time consuming. And there's a lot of complex stuff associated with the 3D development. Pixelated 2D arts, on the other hand, is much more convenient for indie developers. It's accessible to smaller teams with tighter budget and fewer people. Pixel art is also an effective way of presenting a good artistic challenge for developers, and as I mentioned earlier, it is well known that pixelated graphics evoke nostalgia and remind people of simpler times. Many call it an art style, while others see it as a way to justify their love for retro graphics. And honestly, I'm not complaining, because it works. When I say it's easier for developers to use pixel art, I don't mean drawing in 2D is simple. Even though 2D coding is often considered easier compared to coding in 3D, if you're not careful with the art style, your game might end up looking like one of those cheap flash games. Pixel art still requires precision, creativity, and a good understanding of visual design to stand out. Overall, indie developers tend to lean on this art style because it's easier to make, already popular, easy to update, and supported by several engines and programs. Plus, the coding requirements are more basic compared to 3D developers. It's more practical choice, especially for beginners or small teams. One of the best things about any games that use pixelated art style is that they can run on multiple platforms like Steam, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and even mobile in some cases. Pixel art is also accessible to many players because games developed in this style are often less demanding on hardware, which makes it fair for players who don't have the latest systems or those who simply can't afford them. There are a lot of pixel games that can run on multiple platforms. We've got Celeste, Dead Cells, Hotline Miami, Stardew Valley, Blasphemous, Undertale, Shovel Knight, and there are so many more to mention, but the ones I've mentioned can run on consoles, Switch, PC, and even mobile like Dead Cells and Stardew Valley. This accessibility is a big reason why pixel art games are so popular. They are available to a wider audience, and that's something many AAA games fail to do. Another reason why pixel art is so popular among indie games is because there are already established success stories in the industry. Take Terraria for example, which was originally released in 2011 and millions of people are still playing it to this day. Stardew Valley is another great example of a successful indie game. It's a pixelated farming sim with a mix of RPG and simulation elements that capture the hearts of so many players. And Dead Cells, which has built a very loyal community with DLC that's just out of this world. Pixel games have a special way of keeping fans and communities together. Some people just play the game and share it with their friends, but others go even further. They create fan arts, share their own mods, and even cosplay as characters from the games. These fan-driven efforts not only keep the excitement alive, but also help the game reach even more people. So why does pixel art still popular today? Well, it's not just about nostalgia or the fact that it's easier to make for any devs. There's something special about it. It gives a unique vibe to games that really stick with players, whether it's that old school charm or the creative challenge it gives developers. Pixel art has a timeless appeal that keeps people coming back. Pixel art has found its place in the gaming world, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. As long as there are players who appreciate it, indie devs will keep pushing out these awesome pixelated games. Anyway guys, I've shared my thoughts and solid opinion on why pixel art is still so popular in any games today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more. I will see you in the next one.